Welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to understand and use box model in CSS. I'm going to show you everything step by step. Let's get started. The first thing we have to do is to create the boxes we are going to be using, and we create the parent box div. Let's just call this one class parent box so that you will see everything we are doing easily. Parent box, and we now have children. Let's call them class child box. So let's have multiple of child box, and we have to duplicate that to do it. So copy, let's copy and paste it. So we have like 3 already, and let's say that is okay like that. Now I want to show you how box model works so that you can understand it. The first thing I want you to understand is this element here is the parent, and these ones are the children of this parent element. Let's make use of CSS to understand box model, because box model is all about CSS. Let's get there and do something. The first thing we want to do is to select this element with their class name. Let's do class name parent box. You know, the dot notation, as I have explained before, is used to access or select the element with parent box class name. The class name of this element is parent box, so we selected it with this CSS, and let's style it, and then we set its border to 1 pixel solid red so that we can see its border. You can see that, you can see it here. Can you see that? So we have the border of the box, and let's give it height so that we can know how big it is. Let's make it with let's say 400 pixel, and height, let's make it 400 pixel also, so that we can understand what we want to do. You see that? And let's now select the child element. We call it child box. So you see that? Let's make them the same color but different size. Let's make their width and height 100 pixel so that they'll be smaller than their parent. You see that? So now that we have seen the boxes, the parent and its children, now let's explain what box model is all about. In box model, we always talk about margin, padding, box sizing, and some other things. Let's start with padding. If you come here, you will realize that there is no space up here and left here between the parent and its children. If we now want to create a space between the content of this parent with its children, then we are going to use padding. The space created within an element in relation to its content is called padding. So let me show you that so that you can see it. Parent padding, let's make it 50 pixels so that you can see it properly. Boom! Can you see that? You see that? The space from here to here, this is the parent, this is the border box of the parent. So the space we add to it from here to here, here to here is called padding. From here to here is called padding. You see that? So that is padding. That is padding. We can have padding left, padding right, padding bottom, and padding left. So this one here, here to here is padding left, here to here is padding top, and here to here is padding right, and here to here is padding bottom. So we can write them separately instead of writing it together like this. By using this one, we write all of them together. We write padding left, padding right, padding bottom, and padding left or top. So we write everything together like this. But you can see that it's everywhere. This one became bigger. But there are times when we don't want the same padding around the left or right. So then we can write them like this: padding left, let's make it 50 pixel, so it will be the same thing. Padding top, we make it something different so that we can see the difference. Padding top, let's make it 30 pixel, so it will be smaller. Boom! Can you see that it is now smaller than before? So you can see that this one is still the same thing, but top is smaller than before. Now let's add padding to the right, but in this case you cannot see it because we have a lot of space here already by the right, so we cannot see it. But what we will notice is that the size of this box will be bigger than before. Let's add padding right, padding right. Let's give it something big so that it will be noticeable in the browser. Let's say 200 pixel. So boom, can you see that it's now very big? So you know something has been added. Why is it that it's affecting the size of the element? Yes, we will talk about box sizing later in this lesson so that you can see how it works. But let's finish this part. So you can see that, so we can add to the bottom too. Let's say padding bottom, and let's make it 200 pixels so that you can see it too. Pew! You can see it's bigger, right? So now this is how to do it separately. And for you to now use the other one, there is something I should remind you. Let's say padding 50 pixel. You see that 50 pixel for all of the sides, right? But what if you want to write it like this and you want to give them different values? So you can just do top 50 pixel, right 30 pixel, bottom 40 pixel, or let me make it 200 pixels so that you can see it, right also 200 pixels so that you can see it, and left, let's make it 50 pixel so that it will look like before. Pew! You can see this one is bigger and this one, they are still the same thing. So if we make top 30 like before, it will be back to normal. Boom! You see that? So for you to remember this side, you know, this one is top, this one is right, this one is controlling the bottom, and this one is controlling the left. Then how do you remember? You can remember by writing TRBL and pronounce it as trouble. So T stands for top, R stands for right, B stands for bottom, and L stands for left. So once you remember that, you will know how to arrange this thing by doing, just say trouble and try to remember TRB. Trouble. Pronounce it as trouble. We have done that. Let's talk about margin. Then what is margin? Margin has to do with the space outside. You know, this one now, the space outside of it, right? To the left, outside of it is margin. Let's add margin to the parent so that you can see it. You can give it margin. And just make it 50 pixels so that you can see it too. Boom! Can you see that? You know, it is the space it has from outside of it, right? The space it creates outside of it, that is margin. Outside of it, margin. You see that? To the left, to the top, to the bottom, to the right, to the left. By doing this, we say to the top 50 pixel, to the right 50 pixel, to the bottom 50 pixel, and to the left 50 pixel. So we can do it like we did for padding too. We can just do top 50 pixel, right 50 pixel, bottom 50 pixel, and left 50 pixel, or we can change it if we want to change it. You might say, oh yeah, it's still the same thing, but let's change that of the left to make sure that we have different result. Boom! You can see this one is smaller. So margin is always the space an element creates between itself and an external element or its parent, right? Because this one has parent body, so it is moving away from the body. So that is it. The space it creates for itself and its children is padding. So like this one now, the space they give themselves, right, is also margin. Let's give them so that we can understand margin in their own case too. So You can just see child box, margin 50 pixel. You see it everywhere. Boom! You see that? Margin top, margin left, margin right, margin bottom. They have everything. We can change it to like top 50 pixel, right 20 pixel, bottom 20 pixel, and left 40 pixel. You see, they are different, right? Left is smaller, so that's it. For you to see it properly, let me change that of the left to something smaller so that you can see it properly. You see that? So that is it. Now, another thing I want you to understand that for padding and margin, if you just want to deal with top, you want the size of top to be the same thing with size of bottom. You can just do 50 pixel for the top and for the bottom, and 20 pixel for the right and for the left. So if you just put two value here, so that is how it will do it. Even for padding, the same thing will happen. So if you just put 50 pixel, just two values here in this case, then it will make this one for both top and bottom, and to make it for both left and right. So if you do it for padding too, the same thing will happen. So that's it. Boom, you see, nothing has changed. And you can do margin just like we did for padding, so that we can just give the value separate, like margin top 50 pixel, margin left 50 pixel, margin right 50 pixel, and margin bottom 50 pixel. You see that? So it's still the same thing, right? So that is how to make use of margin and padding. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is box sizing. Why do we have to use box sizing? So I will explain. So let's get started now. Okay, let's go back here. So we just have, let's remove everything here already so that you understand how to make use of it. So now, if I had padding and I'll do padding top 50 pixel, padding right 100 pixel, and padding bottom 50, let's say 100 pixel, and padding left 50 pixel. Boom. Yes, but something should come to your mind. Why is it that the element is now bigger than it was before, right? We say that its size should be 400, but it's now bigger than 400. Why is it like that? Because it adds 50 pixel to this to 400 by the top, so it is a bit bigger. By the left, by the right, by the bottom, so it now become bigger than normal. But what if you only want it to be exactly like, you don't want this thing to be bigger than it is, but you still want all this padding, all this margin, without making this box bigger than it was. You want it to be exactly 400 pixel. So now we are operating with what is called content box. Content refers to where elements can be, the inner part that elements can be, and border is just this line, right? Now we are operating with content box. That means anytime we use padding, margin and padding will be added to the width of the content area, and that will make the content area, that is the total box, bigger than its normal size or normal width or normal height. But we don't want that to happen. If you don't want that to happen, we change it to border box. So how do we do that? That is why when you see some CSS, you see something like asterisk. So asterisk is meant to select all the elements on the page. It selects all the elements on the page, so we can now style all of the elements on the page. We are doing this because we want the box sizing to affect all of the elements on the page. And let's set it now. Box sizing, you now change it to border box. Automatically, if you don't set this, browser will come with content box, and that was why we are having the issue. But you can see, boom, it has changed, right? Once I change this one to border box, it has changed to normal. So the size is what we expect. You can see that. But if I remove this border box, it will be bigger again. You see that? It's bigger. So if I change it to content box, it will still be the same thing because it is just the normal one, the default, right? But if I want it to be the size I want, then I change it to border box. Then boom, you can see it's now normal and we still have the padding, we have everything. So that is how to use box sizing, and that is what we always talk about box model. So some people can just show you box model here. We have it here. Uh if you check here, you see it here. So this is what is mostly used for box module. So this one part is referring to the main content area, and this referring to the padding, and this referring to the border, and this referring to margin. So it's just like what I have explained to you. You can see it is showing here. It shows us the margin we have, and here the border, and here the padding, and here the content area. So for this parent element, it shows you can see that it shows you the blue, you see, content area. So the padding is the white area. Okay, it has padding, so padding is white and the margin is red. It's telling you everything. So that's it, and that's how to. This one is just for you to visualize it, to see it. So that's how to go about it. So let me quickly give you a bonus, and I will talk about border radius. Border radius refers to the curved edges here by the left, by the top. This is top, bottom, right. This is top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Those curved edges, those corners are what we call border radius. Let's give the parent box border radius and see it. Border radius, and we give it 10 pixel. You see something like curve corners, and let's see, boom, can you see that this sides, they're now corner? You see that? So that is how to use it. And you can also use them separately, like padding, like change this one to like 50 pixel, and change this one to like 30 pixel, and change this one to like 70 pixel, so that they have this different thing. So just like we use for, you see that you can create different shapes with this, just like we did for padding and margin. You can use the same value like this. You can also use two to mean both top and bottom, and both left and right, like we did for margin. You see that? So see the same thing. Can you see that this and this are equal, and this and this are equal? So that is border radius. You can also do border top left radius. So let's make it 50 pixel. Border top left, you go to the top left, you can see it has changed it. So we create another one, border bottom left radius, make it 30 pixel so that you can see it. You see that? And let's create other ones. Just if you want to do it one by one, maybe there is a reason to do that, because you don't want to create for this side and this side, you just want to create for this side. You can do it the other way we do it the other time, or you can just use them one by one like I am doing right now. We have done top left. Okay, top right, this side, top right here, top by the right. I have what? Bravo. Let's do border top. This will be bottom, border bottom right radius, bottom right. This is bottom right. Let's save it, make it 20 pixel, and see what happens. And see, boom, can you see that? Yes, it's now working. Everything is working properly as we want it. So it is working properly. We don't have to talk about anything again. We have done it. We are done with box module in CSS, and I hope you understand this. So why do I have to teach you this? I have to teach you this so that you will know how to properly space elements from other, and how to create spaces in an element in relation to its children. Those things are very, very important when you are building web pages, and that is why I have to show you this, because most of the time, things what you do will always be about moving them, arranging them, and things like that. And these things are very important when you are dealing with those things, those activities. So that is why I have to teach you this. That is it. And we have come to the end of this lesson. I'll see you in another lesson. Bye for now. See you. Don't forget, a true Roma never surrender. Don't give up.
Hey, have you been struggling to learn and build projects with JavaScript? Oh no, you too can code. People like you have been struggling to understand and build projects with JavaScript because you have been learning with the wrong resources that make everything so difficult to learn. And there is nobody to be there for you anytime you are stuck. That is why I have put together my long experience of working with JavaScript, and I also took a year of my life to provide solutions to the problem beginners always face in learning and building projects with JavaScript. Now you can learn with a tested and trusted program that makes use of simple examples and amazing illustrations that make everything so easy to learn. And my team and I will always guide you, mentor you, and always be there for you anytime you are stuck. So, what are you waiting for? Click the link in this post right now to start learning JavaScript the easy way. I will teach you JavaScript to be unstoppable. See you soon.